Tired of dealing with annoying flies, fruit flies, and gnats in your home? The Zevo Flying Insect Trap is your ultimate solution. Don't wait. Check out the link in the video description now to get your Zevo Flying Insect Trap on Amazon and enjoy a bug-free home today.
We've all had that feeling. We're singing along to a favorite song of ours, a song we've known for years, and then someone tells you it was actually a cover. Whitney Houston's I Will Always Love You, the Beatles' Twist and Shout, Adele's Make You Feel My Love, Amy Winehouse's Valerie, and Bananarama's Venus are just some of the most widely known and beloved covers of all time. But every now and again in pop music, some cover versions can be so much better, and become so much bigger, that people forget the original versions even existed in the first place. It's happened more times than you'd think, and some of the most famous recording artists in history have had their original compositions lost to time because a cover version became a phenomenon. The list below features some of the biggest names of their era, performing some of their best-known songs, and every single of them is a cover. Let's take a look. Let us know if you already knew about some of them. In 1997, Torn launched Australian actress Natalie Imbruglia's singing career. It was picked as the lead single from her debut album and immediately shot up the charts worldwide. Torn reached number 2 in the UK, held off the top by Aqua's Barbie Girl for 3 consecutive weeks, and its music video became one of the most iconic of the era. However, the song had already been recorded and released in 1993 by Danish singer Lise Sorensen, under the title Brent, which translates to burnt in English. Before that Danish recording, Torn had originally been written by trio Scott Cutler and Previn, and Phil Thornalley. Scott reclaimed his own song and recorded it in English with his band Edna Swap in 1995. Phil then worked with Natalie on her version 2 years later, sending it to the top of the charts across Europe and starting a pop career for Natalie which lasted another decade, scoring 4 more top 10 hits in the UK. Hear the original versions here and here. Did you know one of the biggest, era-defining hits of the 1980s was actually written in 1964? And did you know it was originally recorded by the woman who was in the car with T-Rex's Mark Bolan on the night of his fatal crash? Well, it's true. Tainted Love was first thought up by songwriter Ed Cobb in the mid-60s, 17 years before Soft Cell's version made it one of the best-known hits of the 80s. Gloria Jones recorded it later that year and released it as a single in 1965, going back in to re-record it with her boyfriend Mark midway through the 1970s. But both versions failed to chart in the UK. In the late 1970s, Mark Almond of Soft Cell became aware of the song in their home city of Leeds due to its status as a popular Northern Soul hit and decided to record their own version. Just a short time later, the song became a worldwide smash and made Soft Cell a household name. Hear the original versions here and here. Yup. Cyndi Lauper's biggest hit, one of the quintessential 80s tunes, was a cover. Released in 1983, Girls Just Wanna Have Fun hit the top 10 all over the world and became one of the top anthems of the era. Amazingly, though, the song had already been written and recorded 4 years earlier by singer-songwriter Robert Hazard. He released a demo that had been produced in 1979. It showed that the lyrics were originally written from a male perspective, and that Cyndi had more of a hand in the eventual result than it might have seemed at first. And the lyrics weren't the only thing changed in Cyndi's version, with Robert's demo sounding more like the power pop and new wave acts of the late 1970s, such as Elvis Costello and Blondie. Hear the original version here. Yeah, you'd better believe it. One of the breakout hits of the 2000s, one of the catchiest choruses ever put to tape, the song that launched the pop and TV career of Nicole Scherzinger, a cover. And not only is it a cover, but that catchy chorus was also lifted from elsewhere too. First things first, Don't Cha was written in the early 2000s by Busta Rhymes, who features on the Dolls version, and none other than CeeLo Green. They lifted the chorus from a song called Swass, which had been released in the late 1980s by Mr. Big Butts himself, Sir Mix-a-Lot. In 2004, Tori Amos recorded a full version of Don't Cha before anyone else and released it as a single. But success was only moderate. The song failed to chart anywhere outside the US and E.